Yeah, good morning and namaste. I have the pleasant duty of introducing the distinguished personality of today's function. I think most of the elders know him by the work that he has done to this country, but for the benefit of my youngsters, I shall be reading out his profile, some very salient aspects of the profile because the profile is so large that I will be eating to the time that he has devoted for the presentation. So, Sri Sudhanshu Mani retired as the apex position of Secretary to the Government of India from the Indian Railway Service of Mechanical Engineering Department. He is a fellow of the Institute of Mechanical Engineers, London, and he has held very significant positions as General Manager, Integral Coach Factory of Chennai, General Manager, Southern Railway Chennai, and Southwestern Railway Hubli on additional charge. He was for a short stint as Director General of National Academy of Indian Railways. He was Railway Advisor to the Embassy of India in Germany, which is the highest position of Indian Railways officers outside India. And then he was Chief Mechanical Engineer at the Rail Wheel Factory of Bangalore, Divisional Railway Manager Bangalore, which is one of the prime divisions of Indian Railways, Executive Director Research in the Designs and Standards Organization, like now, heading the most important R&D of Indian Railways. And he was also additional Divisional Railway Manager of Secretariat, which is one of the largest and busiest divisions of Indian Railways. And adding to that, and we are going to hear from him how he has designed and executed the project, which is now considered as the flagship program of Indian Railways, which is none other than the Train 18 story. So, the stage is yours.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'm grateful to Mr. Pai, Mr. Manoj, and Mr. Nayak for offering me this, affording me this opportunity to interact with you. I'm happy to see so many students. I was not aware that the audience would have students, but I will try to speak in a manner which would convey more to you. So, Mr. Manoj spoke of many quotes of the People's President, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. It's not fitting it here fully, but what I'm going to speak to you about can be described in this quote of the great president of ours, and that is, dream is not the thing that you see in your sleep, but is that thing that doesn't let you sleep. I come to you as a railwayman for life. Some also call towards the end as a government CEO, Indian Railways. You can love, you can hate, you can criticize, you can appreciate, but is certainly an organization that you cannot afford to ignore. I'm hardly an accomplished speaker. That's why there has been so much wisdom down the ages. I have those grand, great uncles I borrow a lot from. The poet Kabir, 600 years ago, my English uncle, Shakespeare, 400 years back, and my nearest uncle, the poet Ghalib of Delhi. I will attempt some humor, but unfortunately for you, I'm a railwayman, so I have an inherent right to be derailed, so you cannot derail me. So there are a couple of slides which have gone missing. It's not important, I'll let that slip. I will start with what you people in Vigyan Bharati and Swadeshi movement invented before the government did, self-reliance of India. The purpose of Make in India initially was simply to facilitate manufacturing in the country, to make it factory of the world. Then came COVID, and the government refashioned it as Atmanirbharta, with the hope that these lions of Make in India would roar and take India towards self-reliance. it's the jury is still out, but I would say that we have not heard too many roars, maybe birds, because to my mind, the spirit of self-reliance has not been appreciated fully. You can see all this on screen. These were the measures, more to do with fiscal stimuli and increasing the demand, collateral-free loans for industry and so on. But that's something the economists talk about. As an engineer, I would like to talk about the spirit, the essence of self-reliance. To begin, I'll tell you you can read what is there in the blue. The bureaucracy has defined Atmanirbharta as this, that you can actually import something for rupees 100, sell it for rupees 205, and claim 50%, 55% value addition in the country. So it's simplistic, but it's happening because it's open to misuse. These policies are not going to make us self-reliant, but appreciating the spirit of Atmanirbharta is what is going to take us there. I need not tell you from the scientific community and the students, what's an innovation, but it starts with an idea, develops into a concept, and the cycle is complete when the idea, be it anything small or big, is activated in the real world and there is an outcome of value. And that's how technology is built, because it's a product or service which employs some input, techniques, methods, processes, machinery, plant, and so on. And what I've written in red also artistry for a particular usage. This innovation converted into a technology of sorts as a solution for anything, be it engineering, non-engineering, any field, service, and so on. But to manage it in the country, to nurture it, is what is the spirit. And that comes with a sense of pride and ownership. Because ownership and the pride of ownership can make you do 110% of what you're capable of doing. And that is the spirit which will take us towards self-reliance, in my view. You would hear a lot about the Indian companies not coming up with products which are world class, even in software. I will not get into that, that's perhaps true, but the onus squarely, in my opinion, lies on the government. Because companies have a bottom line, government doesn't have a bottom line. Government has to spend in a country, not in a business. The government is the biggest spender. It invests in not merely economic growth, but it invests in a possible global standing of a country. Some of the measures which the government must take, and perhaps is taking to some extent, are written here. Again, I will not get into this. But one of the things which I always mention is we talk about transparency and we talk about level playing field. Today, the level playing field benefits foreign companies. We should have a field which is skewed towards Indian companies. Let their products be shoddier. But, as I'll tell you later, a beginning has to be made. There's so much stress on EVs, you keep hearing ministers talking about and so on. By 2030, we'll reach here, we'll reach there. I'm not talking about cars. Let's talk about buses. The country has 18 lakh buses. 1,800,000. FAME 1 policy came, FAME 2 policy came. You'll be surprised because there's so many news items. Even today, the country does not have 5,000 e-buses. And whatever we have is mostly the body built in the country. The heart of the system the electricals, the electronics, the controls, the batteries, everything comes from, in most cases, from China. There are companies in India who can do it, who have done it for trains, who have done it for industry, but still, buses don't have that. So policies alone will not take you anywhere. It's nurturing and encouragement which is much more important. There's a familiar term which we keep hearing about is transfer of technology. I call transfer of technology an oxymoron because it's something which cannot happen. Technology cannot be transferred through documents, to specifications, to drawings, processes, training in a classroom, visits abroad, and going for a sojourn and not really learning, and all those things will not make you a master of a technology. Technology, as I said earlier, is a creation, and that creation lives in the mind, and more than the mind, the heart of the creator. And there is no technology to transfer that. So only way you can be a technology leader is to start creating technology. You will make it very bad in the beginning, but good or bad, it has to be yours. Because every failure is a stepping stone to success. Before I come to the Trinity story, I will tell you, this is exactly where Japan was, if I'm right, middle of the last century. This is where China was 10, 15 years back. They started creating their own products. And today, at least in rail sector, China has become a global leader. It's not started with transfer of technology, graduated into creation of their own technology. In India, we still have to see that vision in many sectors, including railways. But to begin to do anything, I have a question, and since we have young people, I will throw the question to the audience, especially our young friend. You decide to do anything in life. So what is the first thing that you think you need? Anyone? To do anything anywhere. Yeah, I heard something. Sorry? Confidence? Yes, of course. Will. Okay, so will, confidence. So there's no straightforward answer to this. You can have your own creative answer. But usually you will hear of vision, leadership, determination, planning, resources, all very good, absolutely needed. I have my own answer, you may like it or may not like it, I must tell you. And that is very simple. Is you start with LOVE, start with love. You love what you do, love your colleagues, love your those above, love you those below. Start with it. And why? Because irrespective of all the wherewithal, all the artificial intelligence, everything, no organization, big or small, can succeed unless the human resource the organization has is aligned to the goal, is with you. And that can come, ladies and gentlemen, only through love. I keep quoting one poet which I translate. एक लफ्ज़ से मोहब्बत का अदना ये फसाना है. This word love is a very, very brief story. सिमटे तो दिले आशिक, पहले तो ज़माना है. If it shrinks, it is the heart of a lover. But if it expands, it is the world. So I lost the slide, which is good because it's about the romance of Indian Railways and the legacy. You would remember as a child, and then we have children here, the scramble for the window seat in a train, because why? As you sat at the window, the marvel and the magic of India passed you by. Fields, mountains, rivers, valleys, deserts, celebration, mourning, pathos, joy, hard work, grind, labor, whatnot. Crowded here, desolate there. Microcosm of India. And that you can see only through the window of a train. It's also a great level up, because even today with all the airports and nice buses, railway station is the only place where the richest to the poorest stand next to each other to catch the same train. Those older here would remember standing at the open door of a railway coach looking back at a snaking train, and it would give you goosebumps. If you cannot really appreciate the marvel of what you see from the Indian Railway, there must be some conflicts and contradictions in your mind which you need to tackle. But I'm not here to talk about these romance. I'm here to talk about what you see on the screen. We have had German technology in 78. I'll start with 1947. I'm not even going before that. So we brought in more AC coaches and Rajdhani, Shatabdi, all these, but 75 years have passed. But the trains have the same recall. Think of Indian Railway, then you see what you see on the screen. As a child, I would see magazines from Japan and Europe. The Trains magazine as a child in late 60s, early 70s. Why could India not have a modern, better aesthetics, speedier, technologically advanced train? That's what I'm going to talk to you about. I was due for posting as a general manager. So not everyone in the service becomes a general manager, maybe 5% of the people who join. I was due to become a general manager. I had the option, in a way, to go and request as the general manager of Southwestern Railway Hubli or Integral Coach Factory Chennai, because I had this vision, I thought so, about a train which could be made in India, which I could not do till I had come to that stage. I requested for and got posted ICF in 2016. This is the factory which was set up in 1955 under the vision of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru to make current technology coaches. But the dream that he had was not backed by any vision of those surrounding him, certainly not by Indian Railways, which kept on doing what I call more of the same. Big numbers, increasing numbers, expansions, to the extent that today 70,000 coaches have been made by ICF, making it the largest single roof factory ever to have turned out that many coaches in the world, but more of the same. To the extent that Chinese premier Chow En-lai came to ICF in 1955. And he actually wrote in the visitor's book, which is there in the gallery which I built in ICF, that every Orient should be proud of this factory, should come and learn how to make coaches. And 65, 70 years hence, where we reached, we are so far behind that we have to go to them, learn from them why railways in practically every technology. Railways is government, government is bureaucracy. There's so much of protocol, so much of distance between those who are governed and those who govern. So many procedures, all victim of a bureaucracy which is handed over to us by the Britishers. And the time to blame the Britishers is long gone. So in a corner of any government offices, things are changing. If you see, you would normally see where the janitor puts his broom and bucket to clean the office. ICF also had it. So I threw that out first and converted it into what I call the family tree. It is nothing but 12,000 faces, all ICF employees, nobody bigger, nobody smaller. It was quite an effort to find your face. I had to go with my attendant to find mine, and it became a selfie point. People came with their family and took their photographs because the sense of belonging it gave to them for the organization was immense. How to break that protocol? The easiest thing was my next in line mechanical engineer chief told me that you have many ideas to do many things. Please don't interfere with the production coaches. So I had a lot of time. I used to just move around. Large factories, so 1.5 hours, 2 hours of a walk, you would meet 500,000 people. I couldn't speak Tamil, but most of them could speak broken English or good English. So our interaction would simply be any problem. 99% of the time answer would be no problem, sir. The people had told me that if you go and do that, you'll be flooded with problems. So how wrong they are of judgment of people. There were little problems somewhere here, some toilet problems, some lighting problems, some things, and engineers would follow me and rectify it then and there. But the goodwill it earned me was immense again, because there was a wall. Many GMs had come and gone, and the workers had not even seen it, because GM would be there only sitting on some stage somewhere in some kind of a function, a celebration. It was too infratic for a general manager to move around in the factory per day and hug the workers who were making coaches for you. Even if they were greasy or dirty, if they were working, you do that, and that's what gives you value, and that's what did give me value. Another big self-indulgent problem with government officers is, I will not say politicians because it's their job to self-glorify, but the paid by people's money, the self-glorification through putting their names on plaques, as if that will make them immortal. So I told my chief engineer, within days of my joining, 1953 to today, 2016, just count the number of plaques, locate each and every plaque, leave aside those with politicians' name and then general managers, chairman of the board, this, that, state secretaries, chief mechanical engineer, whatever. I said, don't leave even one. Take half a day more, but give me the location and number of each and every such plaque. Well, he thought that plaques are ignored, once the officer goes, they get dirty, people even spit on them, not intentionally. So he thought the GM has an intention to get them all cleaned up. The next day he came and told me, it's 162 or something. I said, okay, it's 11 o'clock. You have time till 7 p.m. today. Put all your staff, throw them out, throw them in the dust. Because that's where they belong. From now on, I'm going to spend a lot of money. 10,000 crore is the budget. I will steamroll everyone. 0.25% of this is mine, which will be spent on facilities, amenities, facilities in the factory, in the community, in the colonies. And everything that will be inaugurated by the senior most staff of that section. Because he is the one who was given blood and tears and sweat at that part. And he's the one who's going to appreciate. He's the one who's going to value. And that's what happened. Because they would come with their family again, with tears in their eyes. Couple of years, 1 year, 6 months to retirement. We would simply give them a shawl, a small memento of a coach, and put his name on the plaque, nobody else's. We did 540 such inaugurations in 29 months. Except some 10-15 where we spent huge amount of money, 5 crores upwards, we would call a luminary of that field, never called a politician or a senior railway officer. So, 500, if everyone has at least 5 to 10 people one can influence, you have won over 5,000 people without doing anything extra. But I'll just take some water. %20 are self-motivated, 2% are shuckers, number one, and others watch. For those others to work because shuckers won't, there is only one solution. Throw these shuckers out, and Government of India empowers you. It's wrong to say that government job is secure. I sacked 165 people in those 29 months because remember, there's a Hindi line which I greatly respect is क्षमा शोभती उस भुजंग को जिसके पास कराल हो उसका क्या जो दंतहीन विषरहित विनीत सरल हो, which means mercy is good for a snake which is poisonous. A snake which has no poison, has no fangs. Mercy from such a snake is useless. What you have to do is, and don't punish people. In India, railways, there is a tradition, you stop his parcels that he gets, stop his increment, because that's one more addition to your workforce of disgruntled person. If it's a small mistake or something, excuse it, counsel him, that's it. But if you have to punish him, throw him out. Don't keep him in the organization, because he will always pull down the organization. Having done that, then you can show some mercy if he deserves from his family point of view or is likely to be reformed. Last thing before I go to the training teen story is about ideation, which is always in government pushed from the top. It has to come from the bottom. And it cannot be commanded, demanded, cajoled or dismissed. It has to be simply encouraged. Every man has an idea, barring maybe 5%. Listen to everyone in a collective way, and if everyone appreciates the idea, implement it. And how the easiest way to do that one was through calling staff and hearing and implementing it. Otherwise, to all executives, you command it. Command it by saying that have an idea every month. Now this is a command, but you're free to have a small or big idea, whatever, doesn't matter. But once your idea is told and everyone says it's a good idea, then getting it done is totally single window, your baby. You cannot say that fellow didn't do this, that another fellow didn't do, so it didn't happen. That excuse is not there. The idea is of your choosing. Let it be very, very small or very big, but it has to be then done by you, made sure. So, with 160 officers, one idea a month, some 3,000, 4,000 things got done without any extra effort. It was one single man's job to do it, and we used to then recognize it also. Using all these means and some productivity measures, why the number of staff? I said I will not add any more staff. By the time I retire, I'll make it 10,000. We were 12,000. Too many cooks spoil the broth, as you know. But the productivity of the workshop, you see, as the number of staff went down, the production kept increasing. From where we were around 1,500, 1,600, by the time I left, we had reached 3,262, and later, I believe they had crossed 4,000. By putting solar installation all over, because we were fortunate, we had earlier put windmills on Tamil Nadu coast. Integral Coach Factory actually became an organization which consumed less energy than it produced through regenerative means. And regenerative here, three measures only: windmill, solar installation on every roof possible, and saving energy through efficiency measures. We also became the cleanest colony, the old but cleanest colony, by simple measures of recycling in Chennai city it's possible, the dry waste, and composting all the wet waste and using it in the premises itself mainly. We also revived a water body which had become a stinking dead lake for 30-40 years with sewerage coming from all over unauthorized colonies. I blocked it, and both the MLA who was from DMK and the MP who was from AIDMK who both turned against me because it started overflowing in those colonies. I said, I don't have CSR in government. I will assist you in some means to divert it, but your muck cannot come in my lake. And through community effort, a lake which had not seen pelicans for 40 years, now these pelicans descend there twice a year. And in 2019, when Chennai faced huge water shortage, this lake still had water. Art, as you know, washes away the dust of everyday life from your soul, so I encouraged it a lot all over the factory, to the extent that some people remark that it looked like a factory in an art gallery or an art gallery in a factory. Another very important thing is empowerment of women. It cannot be lip service. If an instance of any sexual or gender-based discrimination and misbehavior comes to you, then you go through a Vishakha committee, and what lot of women usually don't even want to depose because it's not very comfortable talking about it. Incidents go unreported. I say, I don't believe, I'm not the Supreme Court judge. I'm merely an administrator. It's my job to find out if something like this has happened somewhere, through word of mouth or otherwise. After that, I don't even need a written report. My people will find out if such a thing has actually happened. And then, my diktat to everyone is 24 hours. The fellow should be out, thrown out. Let him go to court. So we don't, as administrators, we cannot become Supreme Court justices. The message sent to women was, yeah, the workplace is safer, and if you are exploited by even the slightest means, there is a window where you can go and say, quietly tell about it, and action would be taken. So then they came and said, we are employed as welders, technicians, but we are made to work like helpers. We want to make a coach on our own. I said, that sounds like segregation, but they said, no, it's empowerment. So we made 30 such gangs. The picture I show you is something you will never see in India easily, even in private sector, is heavy fabrication work done by women aged 23 to 57, all on their own, supervised by a woman. And their output, I believe, if not better, was same with the men. Last thing is also importance, and unfortunately in Kerala, a state which has produced so many good sportsmen for the country, is it's not a matter of physical fitness, it's also a matter of rejuvenation psychologically as well as physically. And so I spent so much money that as a premises, in 2.5 years, I was able to make ICF with the best sporting facilities in the city. Floodlit cricket ground, floodlit hockey ground, best indoor stadium there, 10 tennis courts, 7-8 basketball courts, and so on. Because I said railways is not there only to run trains, it has immense amount of money. Why not give something to the city as well? And which benefits the ICF employees as well. And the last thing which we did was also to attack this more of the same syndrome. I will not go into the examples, but the one on the extreme right is a DE and U exported to Sri Lanka. Whenever we did that, we came into comparison with Chinese products and we always got a sorry figure. But thanks to the team at ICF, what we sent in 2018, I was in Sri Lanka after retirement in this year, February, and all of them told me that it's the first time an Indian product which has come, which excels the Chinese product. So what's a train set? I've come to the main story now after taking so much of time. So a train is a lot of coaches and locomotives, one end or both ends. A train set is something which has no locomotive, engine in common parlance. All the equipment is put under the board of the train. There are two cabs. You can go from one end to the other, all connected. These are the advantages. It doesn't need to detach a locomotive, bring it in front, it can go reverse on its own. It's faster because you can put more equipment under the board. It's more energy efficient and all these advantages. You can, as I said, walk from one end to the other, 16 coaches. You won't even feel that you're crossing a coach because it has a sealed gangway, unlike the vestibule, rickety vestibule you have today, which not even appears safe for children and older people. So if train set is the thing which is being done for 25, 30 years all over the world, why is it that it's not being done in India? So the reason is this. So railways have departments. One department maintains locomotives, another department maintains coaches. So nobody's bothered about what the country needs. It's whose fiefdom it is going to be, because now the train is neither a locomotive nor a coach. It's both. So that struggle is on for last 25, was on for 25, 30 years. I was also part of it, cannot deny that. But what the country needed had receded, and what a department of Indian region needed to build its own empire had become prominent. Then of course there is always an import lobby. I'll not go into what I have written from Shakespeare's saying on the right, but believe me, after retirement I do feel that what that gentleman said 400 years back is so true. Because all the ill-gotten wealth that you can have is not going to be of much use to you. But on the other hand, virtue makes you so bold that you are never fearful. This is something which I speak to you from experience myself, as well as having seen many of my seniors and others, and it's a wealth very much worth accumulating. Anyway, coming to the story, there were lobbies who wanted to import, lobbies who didn't want to import, and all that struggle was going on for 30 years, and no sign of a train set. You see, we all curse so much that's around us, because nothing works. Your state is a little better, go to any other state, you will find something which doesn't work. Your bus service doesn't work, your drainage system doesn't work, your this doesn't work, that doesn't work. We keep cursing, but all of us tend to forget a very little thought where we can make a difference. Because even the Prime Minister of India cannot change the entire assembly. He also has a bigger dot, that's all. That's the one we need to be worried about, to light your own candle, don't curse the darkness. शिकवा जुल्म के शब्द से कहीं बेहतर होता कि अपने हिस्से की क्षमा जलाते जाते. Instead of cursing darkness, light your own candle. And that was the time for me now in ICF in late 2016. And that's when the question of dream comes. We are all told that we should realize that, live our dream, we should pursue our dream. That's all very well. But first thing you have to do is to support your bread and butter. Having done that, then only you can look after dream. So it's better to have that dream lurking somewhere. Don't let it extinguish. Because you don't know when the opportunity will come for you to realize it. And this was the time for me. because talking about all my service life, about the poor look and the recall of a train, and as the general manager of the largest factory, which has become largest after making 3,000 coaches in the world, if you don't realize it, then you were not dreaming. It was a nightmare for you, and you kept it like a nightmare. So I had these things, I had the vision, dream was always there. I also had very good fortune because the officers and the staff, design and manufacturing staff, bequeathed to me, not my doing, who had this chutzpah, this audacity to do something new. They were not getting that opportunity. All I needed to do was channelize that and get the country what it needed at that point. But there were some doubts. One doubt was simple. Where is the sanction? Because you may be a GM all powerful, but you need sanction from the ministry. So I said, I'll get you that, but what a foolhardy person I was, because division, and they thought I was trying to spin a yarn. The import lobby obviously thought that here goes the chance of import. So much of resistance, but the chairman railway board, I worked with him when I was in Bangalore as the divisional railway manager. He was the GM. He said, yes, you can do it, but other board members are not letting me sanction this. So I pleaded with him. I asked him, you think we can do it? He said, yes, I think you can do it, but. So I said, I'll fall at your feet. I'm not leaving it till you give me the sanction. And I promise that I will make this train before you retire. He was retiring in July 18. This was April 17. I lied. It would not have been possible. But to get the sanction, that was all right. And I got the sanction same day. And then I told the team that here we are, we need to start. They said, it's all, we are daring to go, but 200, 250 crores is what we were to spend. First time such a thing would be attempted. If it doesn't work, then who will be the scapegoat? It was very easy for me to say that I am retiring in December 18. It gives us 21 months. But what can they do to a retired old man? If it doesn't work, then I take the rap. But if it works, all of us will get so much credit. That fired them on. Because you see, our doubts are always our traitors, as Shakespeare said. And that's what makes us lose the good we might win by fearing to attempt. We don't attempt. Failure is a must, but success follows failures. गिरते हैं शह सवारी मैदान जंग में वो तिफ्ल क्या गिरे जो घुटनों के बल चले. Only a mounted soldier can fall in battle. A soldier which crawls can never fall. The time of your crawling are over. We will all mount together and try to give the country a product that it has been waiting for 30 years. I've told you about technology. We decided this is going to be our own, totally, good or bad. We will not go for any collaboration of any kind to make it. 70 years of learning have at least taught us that we can make a good train, if not world class, a good train. We did a reality check of the 150 odd areas. I shortened it. There were 3 areas which you see in the blue where we were not, we didn't think we were there. We means ICF as well as the allied industry, which has made great progress. That's when I said we'll not go to a company. Having worked in Germany, I know consulting firms which you provide you design consultancy. They have no stake in future supply. They just want to do a good job. We will engage them with one condition, that we will work together. Every line that you draw, every word that you write will be with us. And the IPR will remain with us. We will not only get know why, know how, we will also know the know why. Next time we want to design a better train, we don't have to go to anyone. So we engage these consultants. Remember, it's also foolish to think that you can do everything. That's also Shakespeare has taught us. That the fool thinks he is the wisest man. The wise man must know himself to be a fool first, and therefore it is always better to be. Yeah, so because accepting that you don't know is easier instead of hiding the lack of knowledge. So we engage these consultants as a witty fool. And then I told, now is the time for you to do your hard work and show to the world. Again, I borrow from the God. And these next couple of years or whatever time are your test. So there were glitches, joys, everything, but one last doubt was told to me that such a project usually takes from concept to final design something like 36 to 42 months. We are in April. By the time you retire in December, we would have made all the manufacturing drawings, but manufacture would not have started. So the next leader would say, why are you purchasing this trouble? What's wrong with more of the same? You abandon this project. So where would we be, the excited staff of ICIF after 18 months? I said, yes, that's a genuine problem. So I can have only one solution, is that our minds might not have reached where the Japanese or the Western world has been, but we still are Indians who can work like donkeys, work like hard, burn your midnight oil. And what the world does in 42 months is something we will do in 18 months. And we will turn out the train, good or bad, before I retire, so that it is fait accompli, nobody can really change anything about it. And to remind everyone that the train is going in calendar year 2018, we'll call it train 18. And we were lucky, fortune favors the brave, that it not only got turned out in 2018, it was running exactly 18 months, April 17 to October 2018. There was a grand unveiling ceremony in October 2018 where we allowed all the families of the integral coach factory to come and see the train their family had made. And there was a crowd, believe me, of upwards of 6,000-7,000 in the factory, a protected area. But that day everything was allowed. It went through testing, all necessary testing over the course of a couple of months. And the first time the train ran over 180 kilometers per hour in India successfully. With all tests which were done, it passed all the tests in ride quality and acceleration and lateral forces and so on. And it was finally launched in service by the Prime Minister himself in February 2019. I retired in December 2018 as Vande Bharat Express. Another one I had started making, which was turned out that year, 2 trains were running, and now, after 3 years, gap of 3.5 years, trains have started coming out of ICF again. The negativity that happened between early 2019 to later part of last year is something which is not worth talking about here. The important thing is that the project has gained ground in huge numbers, and you will see many such trains. The latest one is going to run from Mysore to Chennai. It has been more than 3 years, nearly 4 years for the first train, and except for an unfortunate incident that happened on 7th of September, in 4 years, not one failure, not one service cancellation. The train has had impeccable reliability record, and that's to credit of Team ICF entirely, because I was just merely a leader. It was their skill, their excitement, their enthusiasm which built the train. And the last message to you all, especially the young people, 1,000 such projects are possible in India, are burgeoning, are growing. All it needs is leadership, empathy, sense of purpose to do it. Thank you very much.